What's up, YouTube? It is your boy Billy Clint here. I decided I am off work tomorrow, so what better way to spend my night than to help you guys make your decks better with a side deck video. So I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of side deck options that could be used this format. Probably I'm going to also go into what I think are like the top 5 best side deck cards that have been used. So without further ado, y'all see the Deadpool on top. This is something new because it's not a deck profile. Like I said, side deck 2016. First, I'm going to discuss also budget options before I get into the main hitters that are being used. So let's get started. First off is Goes and Match. This is a budget option that I felt that was pretty good to be used. First off, it kind of reminds me of Anti-Spell Fragrance when it comes to the Pendulum deck, because it doesn't allow Pendulums to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Let me explain what I mean. So, if you read what Goes and Match does, and I will not do this with everything because this just take too long, but each player sends monsters they control to the graveyard until they each control monsters of only one attribute. Each player cannot control monsters with different attributes. This is good if you're playing, like, say you're the turn player, you're playing like Mermill or something, because most of those are same attribute. When it comes to the Pepe deck, they have all sorts of attributes and all sorts of types also, because of stuff like Draco. Is it Draco off? Or it was Draco Rivals, but it's not Draco Rivals no more. So they play that engine. They play the Perform Age engine. They have all sorts of stuff in there with different attributes, and this can definitely slow them down. I think this is a good option for the budget player if they don't have something to go to. A next card that I think deserves like a budget option honorable mention is this card called Deck Lockdown. If you guys don't know what Deck Lockdown does, I'll go ahead and bring this up to the camera. Neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. Monsters cannot be special summoned from the main deck. Destroy this card during your second standby phase after activation. So this has quite a few applications to it. The portion of not adding cards except by drawing them is huge, huge. One big card that makes me think of this is Damage Juggler. People still play Brilliant Fusion variants, so they like to send the Brilliant Fusion and Gem Knight Dude, special summon the one guy, banish Damage Juggler to add a key piece to their hand, and that is just something that can be taken out with this card. Also, something else that's big is Sorcerer. Sorcerer, Perform Age Sorcerer? He can pop 2 cards to add 2 more Perform Age monsters that are different from the ones that he popped. Now, this can stop stuff like that. Also, this is good against, I would believe this would be good against the Cosmo matchup, because they like to special summon stuff with like E-Telly and stuff from the deck, which they can't do that with this on board. The whole swapping out monsters, special summon another monster from the main deck, they can't do that either for you to get OTK'd. Good thing about this card is it's also budget friendly, so I would take that into account. One thing to notice though, the fact that these are continuous. A lot of people are trying to shy away from continuous spell and trap cards because of stuff like MST, Twin Twister, something real big. So there is like high risk, high reward for these. Like I said, for the budget player, these are really good options. Next, something that I've seen quite a bit, actually, but it's basically used to get like big beaters that you can't get off the board without basically having to sacrifice anything really important, because it'll be easy to get over. The kaiju stuff, mainly this guy, because he's got 2200 attack, so that's not really too much in this game. but he is real good for removing stuff like your Dark Destroyers off the board, Cyber Dragon Infinities. It doesn't, there's not like really a cost. You just tribute one of your opponent's monsters and you can put this on their side of the field. So that is huge when it comes to getting rid of a boss monster that you just can't seem to get past. I have seen this in a lot of local play and in some regional play, so I figured I'd bring it up. Now, getting into the better stuff, I guess. Grand Horn of Heaven. Everybody knows we are in an OTK pendulum format, so stuff that negates summons of multiple monsters and sends those monsters to the graveyard so they can't keep pendulum summoning them back is just too good. So I figured this is definitely getting a mention in my book. Everybody knows that monarchs are coming. They are coming, and I believe they get released on the 29th. So I figured I'd bring this into play. Mask of Restrict. This is an old card. People know basically what this is, but for some of the newer players that don't know what this is, basically it just reads monsters cannot be tributed, and that's going to be huge for that monarch structure deck that's going to be coming out on the 29th. Yeah, there's not much I can really say about that. Just know if you don't have them, pick up the commons. You can pick up the supers or whatever, but you're going to be paying like quadruple the amount of one of these. So I know people have that rarity complex, so if you feel like picking those up, go ahead and pick those up. But they are shooting up right now in price. So Imperial Iron Wall still gets some love from me. The factor of people cannot banish their jugglers to they can't banish anything to basically plus and further their plays. So Cosmos can't banish their stuff to bring out bigger stuff. So I still think this is really good. But just like I said before, be wary of the continuous, because there are a lot of floodgates that are out there that well, not floodgates, but cards that remove stuff from play that's not on board, that's on board for too long. So that's something you got to worry about. Now, Denko and Royal Decree. These are considered side deck cards for if you know that your opponent is playing rogue and they're actually playing a lot of back row. I know artifacts are becoming a thing. Scythe is just really good right now for the format. Interrupting your opponent's special summons is just huge, and stuff like this can stop that. Denko Seka, Boss Man, he's basically Royal Decree on legs. Your opponent got a whole bunch of stuff set, they summon Denko, they can't activate anything unless it's a counter trap to counter his summon. Royal Decree just can't activate any trap cards, negate all other trap card effects on the field. So if your opponent has like Wavering Eyes or something set, they still can't activate it with Denko, but they can still do it with Royal Decree. But honorable mentions. Now we're going to get into some of the bigger stuff. Here goes Anti-Spell Fragrance. This is I like this card. I know it's really good in any type of pendulum matchup because they can't set scales. But is it too slow? Is it? I don't know if this is one of those. Is it enough kind of cards? I think there's more stuff you got to play other than this. But in case you guys don't know what this does, I'll go ahead and bring it up to the camera. It says both players must set spell cards before activating them and cannot activate them until their next turn. So yeah, everybody knows that you can't set pendulum scales, so that's why this is really good right now. But if somebody has like a set Twin Twister set or MST something for you, it's gonna get removed. But all in all, if you usually got this on board with some backup, it's usually GG for a pendulum player. So I'm going to bring out 3 cards now that I think are really good because there's a lot of searching in this format. And this is basically this on legs. But Mistake, Neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. Mistaken Arrest is basically the same thing, but it's only for a couple of turns. Until the end of your next turn after this card resolves, neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. So I actually think this is better right now than this, because if this gets MST'd or Dust Tornadoed or Twin Twistered, I can't believe I said Dust Tornado, but you can chain this and it still will go off, where this you would get nothing. This is basically these guys on legs, and it's still, you can pick these up pretty cheap depending on what rarity. Like this right here is a gold rare, so I'm pretty sure this is pretty cheap. But this has, it can be bottomless or whatever, but high risk, high reward. Neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. You can send this face-up cards to the graveyard to negate the special summon of one of your opponent's monsters and destroy it. So it definitely has merit in this format because there is a lot of special summoning, a lot of card adding. So these are all good options, I believe. But I would just say expect this to get Twin Twistered or this. If it comes down, Twin Twister is a really big card right now. Usually people set like Solemn Notice or Solemn Strike and something else, and they get Twin Twistered and everybody's butthurt. I don't know. I like the card, but I don't know. Next is something I have been seeing quite a bit actually, and it's really, I don't want to say it's surprising, but I like it. And that's Forbidden Chalice. Forbidden Chalice can be played offensive, defensive, and it's actually pulling a lot of weight right now. You know, you summon Sorcerer or something, they try to activate their effect. This card can negate that effect. It gives that monster plus 400 attack, but the effect's negated. And what I like, it's quick play, and you can use it offensive and defensive, which is really good right now. Nothing else I really need to say about Chalice, but it has been used to like negate stuff like Sorcerer, Cyber Dragon, Infinity. Lots of good cards that hit the field. Mermills is a big thing right now. Pepe is a big thing right now. Cosmo's a big thing right now. This can be used against all those decks, so good card. And you don't have to get the ulti. You can see this in common, so you know you can pick these up for pretty cheap. The rest of my cards are basically hand traps. Now we know that Maxi is it's good right now. Let's be honest. In some matchups it's not as good because you know you can't when somebody pendulum summons, you can't draw for each pendulum summon. You can only draw one. But still, it stops unless your opponent knows they're going to OTK you. It makes them think, and that's why I like this card. Not basically just because of the draw, because a lot of people don't want to, if they feel like they can't finish you off, they don't want to overextend to where they give you enough cards for you to finish them off. So it's a complex card, and it makes people think, and I like that. A lot of people think and they misplay, or they just go in too hard, they get stopped, and then they get OTK next turn. So that's what this card brings to the table for me, and that's why I like the card a lot. Next is Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. This is still really good. The factor of destroying a card when it activates is really good. That's like Pendulum Scales, monster effects. A prime example of this is when somebody's trying to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity, they use Telemias to detach and then boom, blow them bitches up. Or when somebody's activating the Pendulum Magicians and they activate Wisdom Eyes to search for another Pendulum Magician, you can use this to blow up the Wisdom Eyes. This card is really good still, you know, even though you're just destroying cards, it still puts in a lot of work, this format, and I will not short circuit this card. I think this card is awesome. So next card, the next hand traps, let me bring out Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is still good. It's not, I don't know if it's as good as some of these cards, because it does negate the effect, but the monster's still on board to be used for like an Exceed summon or something around them lines. So it does negate effects, though. The effect negation is still really good, so I do like that. And it's a tuner, so you can use it to synchro. Now these next cards, I don't know which order I'm gonna put them in, but they're still hand traps, and they're still good this format. I think I'm gonna go first with Flying Sea because that's like the typical one out of the three that I have. Flying Sea. If you see that your opponent is playing a heavy Exceed deck like rank 4, rank 5, rank 3, you don't want them to go into their strategies to like Dino Mist bring is just Cyber Dragon Infinity all day. Pepe is they can just XYZ on you all the time, or Ignister you. This is slow that stuff down. If you guys don't know what Flying Sea does, I'll bring this up for you. When your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's side of the field in face-up defense position. The controller of this card cannot XYZ summon. I like this card also because I think Burning Abyss is like under radar right now, and it's still really a good deck. They got the power up from Bosch with multiple traps like Providence that's being used on top of stuff like they can sneak in XYZ Universe. They've been sneaking in Horn of Heavens, Magic Jammer, even stuff that they can discard their Burning Abyss monsters to get their effects to start special summoning Dantes over your face, and you just don't want that happening to you. So when they start the normal special, you put this on their side of the field, they can't do none of that, and that slows them down immensely. Next is Drollen Lock Bird. This is actually getting a lot of good steam, and it's being used quite a bit right now. And for you guys who don't know what this does, is basically a mistaken arrest or something in hand trap form. If your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, except during the draw phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard for the rest of this turn. Neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand. Drawing cards is also considered as adding a card to the hand. So this just stops all the adds. A big thing for this that's coming up is the Monarchs. Monarchs add so much fire to their hand now, especially with their draw card. Panditi or something along those lines. That card's freaking nuts. That deck is just going to get even better and better, man. And I love Monarchs. I just got to find out the deck recipe for it, but this slows them down a lot. All the pendulum stuff, they're always adding stuff to their hand with Sorcerer and Gear Turtle and Monkey Board. Excuse me. And this just slows that stuff down. Damage Jugglers try to banish to add stuff to their hand. It slows down a lot right now. So if you guys don't have these, you can pick these up pretty cheap. So, and my last card of the day is Mr. Long Dick Style himself, Gores. Gores still wins wars. He wins games. You guys think that you don't sleep on Gores, man. That's all I'm saying. People always think that, hey, they got the game won. There is nothing I can worry about when they get like 1 or 2 attacks in, and then their big monster attacks, and Gores all over your face. And then they're like, didn't expect to see that Gores. And then the person that plays Gores usually wins the next turn. Gores is still good. When you take damage, you special summon this guy from your hand. You get a token for how much damage you took from, it's basically from a monster attack. So you have the token and you have Gores. And like I said before, you play Gores smart, Gores wins wars. With that said, that is all the side deck cards that I have right now. I will go into what I think are the best cards in the format, hand trap wise, or whatever, and Let's see, I got 4 here. So let me choose my 5th one. That is, I think, is being used. And it would have to be probably, man, I think I'm going to have 6 because I can't decide on which one I would use for number 5. But I think I'm going to go with that. It's going to go with both of those. All right, so my number 5 choice out of this was 2 cards actually, so it's going to be probably basically top 6, but still. It'll be these 2. Denko still wins a lot of games by just summoning when your opponent has stuff set. And Imperial Iron Wall is just really good. I've explained before, your opponent can't banish the damaged jugglers to add stuff to the hand, which really extends their plays. It stops a lot of play extension. Cosmos can't keep doing their loop to OTK you, so I think these are 2 really good cards that are still being used right now. Number 4 would have to be probably Spell Fragrance. This definitely can shut down pendulums if played at the right time. But if you do draw this like late game, it can be bad if you don't clear your opponent's pendulum boards. But still really good card. So that's number 4. Let's go ahead and do this. My number 5 selections. Number 4. Number 3 would probably be Forbidden Chalice. This card is just too good right now. It can negate opponent's effects. During your turn, it can boost up your monster if you really want to. You can use this offensive or defensive. Just too strong right now. Number 2, Ghost Ogre, Snow Rabbit. Can blow up pendulum scales, can blow up monsters when they're trying to activate their effects, and the timing on this card can just be crucial when your opponent's trying to make a really good play and you interrupt it with Ghost Ogre. Number 1 is going to have to be Maxi. What more can I say about Maxi? I've already explained it. Special summon, your opponent special summons a monster, you get that draw card. Makes them think about extending their plays to the max, so they don't want to give you the game. So with that said, oh, that's 22 minutes, man. But I'm glad you stuck in with me on this video. Just go ahead and let me know what you guys felt like should have been in a video, or what side deck options did you guys like this format. I know I didn't mention all of them, but I'm just trying to help you guys out in case you didn't know about some of these. So with that said, this is Billy Clint, aka Mr. GG, signing out.